Everyone wants to succeed, but not everyone is willing to pay the price. It's a simple truth that separates the dreamers from the doers. The dreamers search for shortcuts, ways to cut corners, to avoid the hard work. They want the prize without the process, the reward without the grind. But let me tell you something, there is no shortcut to greatness. The price is the price. Success doesn't negotiate. It doesn't care about excuses, and it doesn't offer discounts. It demands the full amount. First, an upfront deposit, then an ongoing payment. It takes what it takes. Think about someone who's achieved extraordinary success. Athletes, entrepreneurs, artists, or leaders. Do you know what they all have in common? They didn't skip steps. They didn't try to cheat the process. They paid the price. They got up early when the world was still asleep. They showed up when they didn't feel like it. They pushed through setbacks, failures, and moments when quitting seemed easier. They sacrificed comfort for growth, distractions for focus, and immediate gratification for long-term success. The question isn't whether you want success. The question is whether you're willing to do what it takes. The truth is, shortcuts don't exist. And even if they did, they'd rob you of what truly matters. The growth, the grit, and the character you build along the way. You see, the process isn't just a requirement, it's a gift. It shapes you into the person capable of holding on to the success you're chasing. Sure, the road is hard, and you'll have moments when you doubt yourself, when the obstacles feel insurmountable, and when the temptation to give up whispers in your ear. But in those moments, you have a choice to quit or to keep going. And every time you choose to keep going, you're proving to yourself that you're willing to pay the price. The price of success is discipline when distractions are calling. It's perseverance when the odds are stacked against you. It's focus when the world is full of noise. And above all, it's the refusal to settle for anything less than your best. No one gets to skip the price. Not the Olympian standing on the podium, not the entrepreneur who built a thriving company, not the artist whose work inspires millions, and neither will you. But here's the good news, the price is worth it. The late nights, the early mornings, the sweat, the tears, the failures, they're all part of a journey that transforms you. They're what turn dreams into reality and goals into achievement. So stop looking for shortcuts. Stop waiting for an easier way. Instead, decide that you're willing to pay the price. Decide that no matter how long it takes, how hard it gets, or how many times you stumble, you won't stop. Because when you pay the price, you earn the reward. And the reward isn't just success, it's pride, confidence, and the unshakable belief that you earned it. Remember, the price is the price. It takes what it takes. The only question is, are you willing to pay it? There comes a time in life when we're forced to face a truth we never wanted to acknowledge. A moment where the dream we've held close, the one we've poured our heart and soul into, well, it may not unfold the way we imagined. And that realization, it hurts. Feels like a storm rolling in, washing away all the plans and visions you worked for. But let me tell you this, the storm isn't the end, it's a new beginning. Dreams are a funny thing. They have the power to ignite our passion, push us to work harder than we've ever thought possible, and they give us a sense of purpose. But dreams are not rigid. They're not set in stone. Dreams are seeds, and sometimes what grows from them is different than what we expected. So here you are, standing at a crossroads. One road feels like a dead end. It's the one where your original dream lived. But look closer. What feels like the end of one path is actually the start of another. This is your chance to take everything you've learned, every ounce of resilience you've built, and create something new. You see, life isn't about clinging to one version of success. It's about evolving, adapting, and growing. Maybe the dream you're holding on to was meant to teach you something, not to be the final destination, but to prepare you for something greater. Think about it. Every setback, every time you felt like giving up, you were building strength. Strength to weather disappointment, strength to rise again, strength to redefine what success means to you. And that strength is now your superpower. Now is the time to ask yourself, what else is possible? What other gifts do you have to offer the world? Maybe it's time to take all the discipline, dedication, and grit you've developed and channel it into something new. Maybe it's time to dream a bigger dream. A dream that reflects who you are today, not who you were when the journey first began. Yes, closing a chapter is hard, but every great story is made up of many chapters. You're not at the end of your book, you're just turning the page. And on this new page, you have the power to write something extraordinary. Don't let the fear of the unknown paralyze you. Instead, let it excite you. Let it remind you that there's more to discover, more to achieve, and more to become. You are not defined by one dream. You are defined by your ability to dream again. The best is yet to come. Not because it's guaranteed, but because you're going to make it happen. You've already proven you have the fight, the courage, and the determination. Use those same qualities now to blaze a new trail. Life is not about what happens to us, it's about how we respond. So respond with courage, respond with curiosity, respond with hope. The end of one dream doesn't mean the end of your story. It means the start of something new, something unexpected, something incredible. You have the power to design that new dream now. And when you look back, you'll realize this moment wasn't a setback. It was a breakthrough you needed. So pick yourself up, dust yourself off, and start dreaming again. Because your greatest chapter has yet to be written. If you want success, it starts with you, and it starts with self-respect. If you want to feel confident, strong, and capable, well, that's self-respect. Without it, nothing else holds. Self-respect is not arrogance. It's not thinking you're better than anyone else. And it's not about being perfect. Self-respect is knowing your worth without needing anyone else to validate it. It's the quiet confidence that comes from living according to your values, keeping your promises to yourself and holding yourself to a higher standard. Self-respect is the way you talk to yourself, the boundaries you set, and the standards you hold yourself to. It's knowing when to say no and understanding that you deserve to be treated with kindness. By others, yes, but most importantly, by yourself. Self-respect isn't about achieving perfection. You'll make mistakes and that's okay. Self-respect means learning from those mistakes without tearing yourself down. It's not about pleasing everyone. If you live for the approval of others, you'll die by their rejection. Respect yourself enough to do what's right for you, even if everyone else doesn't understand. And it's not about never failing, because failure doesn't define you. How you respond to it does. Every time you get back up, you build a little more respect for yourself. Now let's talk about how to build it. Because self-respect isn't something you're born with, it's something you earn day by day. First, keep the promises you make to yourself. If you say you're going to wake up at 6 a.m., do it. If you tell yourself you'll work out 3 times this week, follow through. Your self-respect grows every time your actions align with your intentions. Number 2, set boundaries and stick to them. When you respect yourself, you won't allow other people to treat you poorly or cross lines you've drawn. Boundaries aren't selfish. They're essential for protecting your peace and mental well-being. Number 3, speak kindly to yourself. The way you talk to yourself matters. If you wouldn't say it to a friend, don't say it to yourself. Start building the habit of encouragement, even when things go wrong. The 4th step is take responsibility. When you take ownership of your life, your actions, your habits, and your mindset, you stop making excuses and start building a life you're proud of. That's where self-respect is born. Finally, number 5, celebrate progress, not perfection. It's easy to beat yourself up when things don't go exactly as planned. But self-respect means recognizing your growth, even if you're not where you want to be yet. So there you have it. If you respect yourself, you'll naturally make better decisions. You'll treat your body better, you'll protect your time, and you'll set goals that challenge you instead of limiting you. When you respect yourself, you don't settle, not in relationships, not in your career, and not in your personal life. Self-respect is what makes you say, I deserve better. It's what gives you the courage to walk away from what doesn't serve you and pursue what does. It's what allows you to look in the mirror day after day and feel proud of the person looking back. You see, the more you respect yourself, the less you need validation from anyone else. You stop chasing approval because you know your value isn't up for negotiation. You start living on your own terms, and that's where freedom is found. Start small, make one promise to yourself and keep it, set one boundary and honor it. Change the way you speak to yourself, even just a little. With every small act of self-respect, you become stronger, more confident, and more unstoppable. It's important because your biggest relationship is the one you have with yourself. So treat it with care, nurture it, and protect it. Everything else in your life will rise to the level of the respect you have for yourself. Once you build self-respect, you become unstoppable. You'll walk through life with a quiet strength, knowing that no matter what happens, you've got your own back. And that's the kind of power no one can take away from you. Are you really going to talk yourself out of getting what you truly want? We all have that voice in our head, the one that whispers doubts, that questions our worth, that amplifies our fears. It's the voice that tells you you're not good enough, you can't do it, or what if you fail? Sometimes it feels like no matter how hard you try, that negative voice is always there, ready to pull you down when you're just trying to rise. But here's the truth, that voice isn't you, it's just noise. And like any noise, it can be quieted. It's easy to believe that voice when things get tough. When you're faced with challenges and setbacks, or just a bad day, the negativity in your mind can seem endless. You start to believe the lies it tells you, that you're not capable, that you're not strong enough, that you'll never succeed. But you're so much more than that voice. Beneath the noise is a deeper truth, one that speaks of your strength, your resilience, and your potential. The key is learning to recognize that negative voice for what it is. It's fear. Fear of failing, fear of the unknown, fear of stepping out of your comfort zone. And fear is loud. It loves to shout and get your attention. But courage speaks quietly. It's the steady whisper that tells you to keep going, even when you're scared. It's the inner strength that reminds you that no matter how loud the doubts become, you're capable of more than you think. You have the power to quiet that negative voice, not by fighting it, but by choosing not to feed it. When those thoughts of doubt and fear start to creep in, remind yourself of the times you've pushed through before. Remember the moments when you didn't think you could do it, but you did. Focus on the light within you, not the shadows cast by fear. And it's not about pretending the negativity doesn't exist. It's about not letting it control you. Every time you choose to focus on what's possible instead of what could go wrong, you take back your power. Every time you decide to believe in yourself, even just a little more, that voice gets quieter. And soon the voice of doubt becomes nothing more than background noise. You're the one in control, not the voice of fear, not the voice of negativity. It's you. And every time you rise above it, you prove to yourself just how strong you truly are. So the next time that voice tries to tell you that you're not enough, remember this. You've already come so far. You've already faced challenges, doubts and fears, and you've made it through every single time. You're not defined by your fears. You are defined by your strength to rise above them. In the end, you hold the power to quiet the noise and see the light. And that light, it's already within you. What if I told you that there's a powerful force that if you can tap into it, you can accomplish anything you wish? What if I told you that this powerful force is everywhere? And what if I told you that this powerful force resides inside you right now? Would you be excited? Would you like to know what it is? Well, like I said, you already own this force and you're using it every day. You're making decisions, living your life based on this force, but you may not even be aware that you're using it or the true power it possesses. Your identity, your decisions, and how you act are all based on this force. You've created this force over years, perhaps your lifetime, through experiences or your environment. It's so powerful that it can lift you through troubled times like a superhero, or it can shut you down in an instant. This force, believe it or not, is your belief system. Who you are, what you're capable of, how you act. These are all directly related to what you believe to be true or what you believe not to be true. Like Henry Ford once said, whether you think you can or you think you can't, you're right. It's our belief system that allows us to accomplish great things. When you believe that you can achieve, you'll find a way. No obstacles are too big when your belief system says that it's possible. Every successful story began with an unwavering belief that I can and I will make this happen. It didn't start with the how. It started with the belief. And as long as I maintain this belief, even against all the forces that challenge it, if I hold on to what I believe to be true, my vision, my goal will become reality. It's only when the forces block my vision and make me start to question my beliefs will my stable foundation begin to crumble. See, when I believe in the outcome, I'll find a way. It's when I lose the belief that I start to question my abilities, or maybe the realization that my goal might be out of reach. When we block ourselves from moving towards our goals, it's because we've created the limiting belief. The idea that I'm not good enough, or that's only for other people. Again, whether you think you can or you think you can't, you're right. So many talented, beautiful people have given up on their dreams because they simply lost the belief that they were capable or deserving. So let me remind you, you are capable and you are deserving. You can do it. You just need to keep the belief. You don't have to know how it's going to work out. You just need to believe that it will. By hanging on to our beliefs, we find a way. Obstacles and challenges are just that. They're things to overcome or go around. They're not permanent barriers unless we allow them to be so. You have this superpower in you now. Use it to its fullest capabilities, because believers are achievers. Let me try an experiment with you. Right now, as you're watching or listening to this, just focus on my voice for a second. Okay, here we go. Don't think of the color blue. What color just popped into your head? Let's try another one and see what happens. Okay, this time. Don't think of an elephant. What animal just popped into your head? If you're like 99% of the people out there, you first saw the color blue. Then you saw an elephant. You couldn't help it. Although the question said not to think about it, the brain's instinct was to bring it up. But don't feel bad that you saw the blue, then the elephant, because it's normal, because the brain can't comprehend the idea of negative questioning. The more we say, don't think about something, the more the brain actually focuses on it. So why is this important? Because it's when we focus on our problems, we're actually making the situation worse. The brain can only focus on one thing at a time. So when I'm thinking about all my problems, or the things that I don't have, or what I'm lacking, I can't also be focused on the solutions or how to make things better. So no wonder we feel bad or powerless. We're mostly focused on problems, not solutions. All of our thoughts and emotions are simply controlled by what we're focused on. Have you ever seen the parents trying to console a crying baby? What's the baby focused on? Maybe it's hungry, or needs a diaper change, or just wants some attention. We don't always know exactly, but we do know that the baby's upset and crying. So what the parents will do is sometimes they'll try and shift the baby's focus. Like, have you ever seen parents shake a set of car keys in front of the baby? Sure we have. Then what happens? The baby sees the shiny new object and suddenly forgets about the hunger or whatever and is distracted by the car keys. And when the focus shifts away from what's wrong to something different, the thoughts and the emotions shift with it. Now, we're not babies anymore, but we must use this simple idea for ourselves. When we're sad, depressed, unmotivated, lackluster, whatever, we're simply focused on something negative or disempowering. And when I'm focused on the problems, my thoughts and emotions follow that negativity. This is where the wake-up call has to happen. This is where we have to use our superpower and shift the focus away from the problems to the solutions. When I'm focused on what I want, not what I don't want, I'm going to see, hear, and feel better. Suddenly my power returns and I'm in control. If you don't want to see blue, focus on red. If you don't want to see an elephant, focus on rabbits. If you don't want to see your problems, focus on solutions.